Hi Singapore, welcome to this special edition of SG Sports Uncut. I'm Raj Kumar. And with less than 2 days before the start of the 2019 Standard Chartered Singapore Marathon, today we're going to be speaking to a few participants as well as the event partners and race organisers. In this first segment, we have Mr. Geoff Meyer. He is the Managing Director of IRONMAN Asia, who are the marathon organisers. He's joined by Ms. Belinda Foo, who's from the Executive Committee of Singapore Athletics, and completing the lineup is Ms. Janice Chia, who is the founder of Aspire 55. Hi everyone, welcome to this special SG Sports Uncut edition. Today we're talking about the 2019 Standard Chartered Singapore Marathon. Geoff Meyer, we'll start this discussion with you with less than 2 days before the start of the Singapore Marathon, and with IRONMAN Asia being the organisers of the marathon for the 4th straight year. Perhaps you could begin by setting the stage for us, Geoff.
Look, we're really excited, to be honest. This is the first time that we've become a 3-day festival. Mm-hmm. So the Friday night we've got the Kids Dash, the Saturday night, which is the big one, the 42 kilometre and the 21 kilometre races. Mm-hmm. First time ever that we've run it in the evening, and then on Sunday more so the community events, the 10 kilometre and the 5 kilometre. We're really excited because this is all part of our major goal in conjunction with government to hit the World Marathon Majors, become that 7th World Marathon Majors and stand alongside the likes of London, New York, Berlin, Tokyo,
Boston,
Chicago.
Yeah. Okay. And how many participants are we expecting across the categories this coming weekend?
We're fast approaching 51,000 at the moment. So with the expo on sale at the moment, we're still taking a few entries. So I think we'll be just over 51,000, which is fantastic.
So that's the number of participants. But on the whole, in terms of the supporters, what is the magic number that you're hoping that will turn out this weekend?
Well, as part of our KPIs, and if you look at a London or a New York and the like, they have crowds in the excess of 1 million spectators. Those countries, they're a true celebration of what those cities can do around the marathon, and that's what we're striving for. And I know it, the embracement that we've had from the Singapore public, the Singapore government, to really put on a show. And Singapore at night time is spectacular. We know that we've got something really special here. Running around Singapore under the lights is truly going to resonate globally. And it's going to be, I think, as good, if not better, than the World Marathon Majors. That's a big statement, but that's what that's our goal. That's what we want to do, and we're hoping to get in spectator numbers, at least 100,000, but we're hoping for at least 250,000 people to be out there. We've created 3 big spectator zones this year, just solely for that, to invite Singapore down to be part of it. One's at the Empress Lawn, the Promontory, and obviously the float where the finish line is. So there's music, dance, food, everything there, activities for the kids. So we're really hoping that everyone comes down, joins in the celebration, shows what Singapore can really do, and show its best light, because the world is watching.
That's right. And you mentioned the Singapore skyline, and we've seen it at night with, of course, our hosting of the Formula One night race.
Yes.
So that was a great advertisement. This could be the next one, the next big one, and taking us into the next decade, for sure. Belinda Foo, from Singapore Athletics, and perhaps you could start by telling us the main role of Singapore Athletics in the Singapore Marathon. Singapore Athletics, of course, is the governing body of track and field in Singapore.
Here we come in from the technical aspect, providing the qualified and certified technical officials, and also ensuring that the race course is measured in accordance to the competition rules and regulations, according to the Association of International Marathons and Distance Races Standards.
Okay, and I believe one of the roles of Singapore Athletics is also to sanction the marathon as a gold label race. What exactly is a gold label race?
Actually, it's the IAAF who does the recognition.
Okay.
And they have these 3 labels: the bronze, the silver, and the gold. And the gold label is your premium label.
Okay.
And apart from the very stringent technical requirements, they also need an international elite field, meaning I think there's a minimum of 5 elite male runners, 5 elite women runners from 5 different nationalities, and they all have to be at that caliber, the gold label category.
Okay. The Singapore Marathon was first organised way back in 1982.
Oh yeah.
Singapore Athletics has been involved in every edition. So as we fast approach a brand new decade, what does the nation's biggest running event symbolize or signify for Singapore athletics?
I would say growth and progress. Yeah, when we started in 1982, there were only 2,000 participants, and it was part of the Pesta Sukan. That was our mass participation event, which saw people coming out, having fun. But I think the numbers hit 60,000. That was a record, right, in 2013. And last year we had 50,000 over 2 days. So we've grown tremendously. Yeah. And also, it's such a symbol. It's become such an icon for local runners. A source of inspiration.
Yeah.
So growth definitely, and progress.
Okay, Janice Chia, let's bring you into this discussion as the founder of Aspire 55. Perhaps you could give us a brief insight into Aspire 55.
Well, I founded Aspire 55 5 years ago. So Aspire 55 is Asia's first virtual retirement village. So what do I mean by virtual? It means a village without walls. Instead of looking at the housing, we look at the clubhouses. And today we have 2 clubhouses in Singapore, 3,000 members, and 200 of these members exercise with us twice a week. 100% attendance, 96 times a year.
Wow.
And we focus on strength training.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, and what would you say are the age range of your members? You said 2,000.
3,000.
3,000.
Yes.
Okay, the age range.
So our members range anything from 45 years old to 89 years old. And those that are participating in the marathon this year, they are aged from 50 to up to the oldest, 77. We're doing the 5 kilometer race of the marathon.
Yeah.
Of course.
So there's a minimum age range you have to be. It starts at 45.
Well, originally we're targeting people aged 55 and above, but people kept coming to us younger and younger because they believe that aging is a process, and the sooner you get ready for aging and you build up your strength and muscles, the better prepared you'll be for that new 100-year-old life in future.
Okay. Looking towards the Singapore Marathon this weekend, I think you just touched on it. How is Aspire 55 involved in this event?
Well, it started because I thought I always think about interesting activities for our members, things that their children will not think of bringing them for. In the past, we brought them for dragon boating, rock climbing. They just did a trip to Nepal, and I thought, hey, marathon is something that you don't associate very often with older people. And I was looking at the Stanchart Marathon and what were the best ways for us to bring older people in. And I noticed they had a 5 kilometer category, but we could still be part of this marathon. So I told my members, shall we do a marathon this year? I want to have, I targeted for 50 people. We have about 46 now. And I said, let's go join it. And they were like, oh, marathon? No, are you sure we can do it? I was like,
Because they thought it was the 42.
They thought it was the 42.
Yeah.
No, we have this version that we can do the 5 kilometer, and as long as we finish within 1 hour, 15 minutes, we can qualify for the medals. And they were all really excited, and before we knew it, people started signing up, and they were all on board.
Oh, nice. We'll come back to you. Geoff, the Singapore Marathon has come a really long way in terms of organizational aspects, to the caliber of the elite athletes competing, as well as the logistics and the infrastructure in pulling off this, giant event. So from the organizers' point of view, perhaps you could identify 2 key challenges in staging a world-class marathon.
Wow. 2 is difficult, there's hundreds.
2 of the toughest.
We took over the marathon in 2016, and we sort of looked at it from afar and how we can improve it. And we always had the goal of taking it to the world's best, which is, again, the World Marathon Majors.
Yeah.
The first issues we had was congestion. It was too busy on the course. We didn't have full road closures and the like. So the biggest issue, I think, is now working with government and all the stakeholders, and all of government are now part of this event, and having full road closures so that we've got the width that everyone can run freely, just like they do in London and New York and the like. And then getting the community on side. The biggest thing for us was then changing it from a 4 a.m. event in the morning when, realistically you've got a dog and a cat probably as our cheer squad, to what we're going to do this year and be running at prime time, so to speak, in Singapore, flagging off at 6 p.m, running through the night under the lights, creating that crowd, creating that atmosphere, and the like. So having government on board now with that, it has been truly, a fantastic, effort from everyone to make this happen. And we know that it can be a really special event.
So was it a unanimous decision to hold this year's edition at 6 p.m. in the evening, because it's not a usual time?
It's taken a long process. I mean, realistically, it's been 3.5 years of battle, basically. Explaining realistically what the World Marathon Majors are. I mean, look, we're a tourism company just as much as we are a sporting company. And if you look at the likes of, say, New York, New York has the biggest economic impact, over $415 million spent on that weekend.
Wow.
It's the biggest inbound weekend of the whole year. That means there's more planes flying into New York for the marathon weekend than there is for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or the like. The economic impact from this and the global reach it has, I mean, if you go to New York when the marathon on, it is spectacular. There's celebrations everywhere going on, the atmosphere is just palpable, but you've also got, the Italian hotel here and the German hotel here and the Australian hotel here, and because they all come from around the world to race these events. They have I think they had over 350,000 applications just to do that marathon in New York. So again, these are big events, and that's what we're striving for. But we're also looking after, and we want to be part of the community. So that's why we've created a 3-day festival with the kids events, the 10 and the 5K, so everyone can be part of it. The elites, which Singapore Athletics is helping us no end, because we're now not only gold label, but we're trying to get to the World Marathon Major label. So this is the biggest elite field. Because we have to have a certain amount of elites out of the World Marathon Major pool of drug testing, which is another level above. And we've also got a full category of wheelchair athletes this year, which we've never had in the past. So these are the elites of the elites, and to have them in Singapore is just fantastic.
Okay, we'll come back to some of the organizational aspects in a minute. Belinda, Singapore Athletics, and you're in charge of identifying the top local elites for the home race, as Geoff alluded to a few moments ago. So perhaps you could elaborate on that.
Well, the SA, we keep a record of all the performances and timings of our top local elite runners. And this year for the SCSM, we've identified the top 20 runners, male and female, to take part in the event. And I just want to say that they've come from a very interesting age range, all the way from the mid-20s to 53. So
nice.
oldest elite is actually a 53-year-old gentleman. Yeah.
Okay. What about the eligibility of the international elite athletes? I mean, do these athletes apply directly to you or Ironman Asia, or do we identify certain runners and extend the invitations for them to come and compete here?
I think Ironman actually extends that invitation and assists us with that invitation.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're talking of this pool of basically 100 athletes that compete across all the World Marathon Majors. These are the best of the best. They're high profile. We invite them. We have a special team that goes out, and we have to compete globally to get these men and women here. So it does cost a fair bit to get these ladies and gentlemen here, because there is big competition. The World Marathon Majors obviously have the big prize money and the like, which we have now raised our prize money to match that. But there's a lot of kudos in regards to winning those events and world championships and the like. So to get the best of the athletes here, yes, obviously we have to entice them to come. And I've got to say, they're really keen to be here. This is so new, it is the Formula One that Singapore put on at night time and the like for marathons. So we're getting a great response. But it's really another level that we've ever had before, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and most of the international elite runners, I think, would be, they can easily adapt to the local temperature and run, as opposed to,
Yeah, I mean, it's always harder, and they do look at Singapore, it is hot and humid, so their recovery time is longer. But when you think that most of the athletes are coming from sort of Africa, the Kenyas and the like, which is probably more of a drier heat, it's the humidity that makes the difference. But the nighttime rate, again, it's another benefit to those athletes and all the age groupers.
Yeah, exactly. Belinda, doping control is a vital component of any major race or event. So how does Singapore Athletics feature in this department in relation to the marathon?
Well, the SA, we work with Anti-Doping Singapore. Yeah, and of course Anti-Doping Singapore, they operate with a framework that's been given by WADA, the World Anti-Doping. Yeah. So all of the winners of the various categories will be tested.
Okay. Janice, I understand, like you said, more than 45 members from Aspire 55 will be taking part in the 5-kilometer version on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. I believe is the flag off. This is the first time your members are taking part. So why now in 2019, Janice?
Well, we've been around for 5 years. You can say they've been strength training for 5 years. And then they've been working out. We do active walks with them once a month. Sometimes we do the outdoor trails and sometimes we do various activities.
Okay.
But I think now is a good time because we're seeing that there's a mindset shift towards how people are aging. From grandma's generation to my parents' generation today, they are now taking a greater awareness of their health, and therefore they want to be stronger as they age. And I thought that the marathon would be a great testament to how we are trying to fulfill this motto of helping them to be stronger as they age.
Okay. I'm assuming you will be with the contingent as well.
Of course.
Yeah. And, you've made plans for a certain team attire or a cheer or a song that you'll be singing together to keep the walk fun and
Yesterday we had our rehearsal walk, and we even tested out the temperature, whether walking at 8:30 was suitable for the members. Gathering them together. We'll be in very colourful t-shirts,
Oh, nice.
and
Okay.
we've prepared special cloud lightning bolt signs saying "Catch me if you can."
Wow.
So look out for those signs. We want to make it really fun and to entice more older people to think about aging very differently. That there's now this group of older people that are very active. They want to be stronger as they age, and at 77, nobody looks like they're 77 anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really a new vision towards how we want to age in future.
So are these the 45 members, are they bringing along additional support?
The 45 members will also be supported by some of our trainers and friends. Then there will be some in the spectators that are coming along.
Okay.
I think this is still new. This year is a relatively small contingent, but we do hope to grow it next year. And we've also encouraged them to tell their family members that they're taking part in this marathon.
You've already got your first group confirmed for 2020.
Fantastic.
Geoff, maybe you can tell us whether the race is being televised, streamed live, and if so, what are the details?
Yes, it's a global coverage. We're on the sort of cable networks, we're on Facebook Live as well, and we're even on Tencent in China. So this is the first time that we've had a full global coverage. We've always had our sort of cable networks and the local channel in Singapore, but this is the first. Last year we upped it to the Facebook Live coverage. We only did it at the last minute. We only really sort of had two weeks notice that we thought let's try for this, and we had over 2 million plus views last year alone. So we're really excited about what that can turn into this year. And also the coverage going into China will be absolutely fantastic for the event's future growth.
Okay. Have you and your organising team from IRONMAN Asia combed through every inch of the marathon route, the 42 clicks, and ensured that none of the runners, local or otherwise, make a wrong turn here,
Yes.
only to link up with the rest of the pack somewhere?
Yes, if you saw our budget on how many crowd control barriers we've got out on course, concrete blocks, water fill barriers, there is
Signage.
Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly. Look, it's been, like I said, a whole of government approach. We've been working with LTA, the Ministry of Transport, Sports, Tourism. Everyone is involved in this, and we've put safety at paramount for the event. So realistically, the whole course is pretty much locked down. So from that perspective, I don't think anyone's going to be taking a wrong turn unless they're jumping some pretty high fences.
And of course, the work from the traffic police and the land transport authority as well.
Yes, very much.
Belinda, the SCSM is hailed as a force for good. So how would you explain that message to Singaporeans who are watching this particular show right now? A force for good, Singapore Marathon.
Well, I think the marathon itself, has always benefited the people in the nation of Singapore in terms of promoting running, the sport, and promoting a healthy activity. And I personally know a lot of individuals who use this marathon as a goal, a catalyst for change after a health scare, or at a point in their life when they just wanted to lead a healthier and be fitter, a healthier life and be fitter. And so the marathon has been a source of inspiration and has been quite life-changing for some people, or at least lifestyle changing. So for that, I think the SCSM has been a force for good.
Okay.
And as Geoff has mentioned, there are also obvious economic benefits to the marathon,
Yeah.
and promoting Singapore as a thriving sports hub with this world-class event. So yeah, it's definitely a force for good. And to all our viewers out there, I'd say please come down, and support the marathon, cheer on your family, your friends, and the other participants, and show us you care.
Yeah. Janice, do you agree that the marathon is ours to cheer and celebrate? Ours to cheer and celebrate.
Of course, I think it's for the whole nation to come out to look at, how the future is going to look like with all these people running as a community. I think it's all about the family coming out to support each other.
Okay. You mentioned just now your members had previously done several activities over the years: kayaking, dragon boat racing, rock climbing. So how do you think they will fare in this Sunday's walk, and can they finish in the 75-minute time limit?
Well, in our trials, we actually finished 9 minutes ahead of the 75 minutes. So we are expecting a good timing for the marathon this Sunday.
Okay. Belinda, Singapore Athletics is in charge of providing the top local runners in Saturday's marathon. Since 1982, only 3 Singaporeans have won the men's open category. And since 2002, we've seen the African runners literally running away with the title, especially the Kenyans. So my question is, why has it been tough for our Singaporeans, the elite runners, to win either the men's or the women's open, despite having the home ground advantage per se?
That's a tough question, Raj. Well, I think actually, to be fair, our local runners have been posting faster and faster times.
They're getting better.
Yeah, they're getting better. Let's see, I think it was 1989, Ricky Koo, one of our local Singaporean runners, he actually won that edition of the marathon, and his time was 2:39:09, and our runners have since improved on that time. So we're getting better, but the field is getting phenomenally better. The caliber of runners that we're getting are the elite, world class, as you said, African runners. Who can win in any marathon in any city. So the ante has definitely gone up tremendously. But I will say though that this international field, what they'll do is they'll pull along, and the challenge here is that they will pull along our local runners who will feel that pull and hopefully come back with even better marathon times, and perhaps come close or even surpass our national record.
Wow, that's one to watch this weekend.
Yes.
Geoff, we come back to you, and there is a concerted effort, as you mentioned, to get Singapore into the list of the Abbott World Marathon Majors and join the 6 elite hosts like Berlin, Chicago, and Boston. So in terms of the strict selection to be in the World Majors, perhaps you could highlight 2 or 3 main criteria.
There's many criteria. It's just longer than my whole
Yeah.
body. Look, we as a company always strive for excellence in everything we do, and I think operationally we are now very much on par. I mean, the criteria is very specific down to the way we will line up our water cups, and they have to be chilled, and we have to have ice out there, and all those kind of bits and pieces. But the big factor, and I suppose this is what we've achieved this year, which we're really excited about, is what is the wow factor? What is the atmospheric thing that is going to make Singapore stand up with those global elites? Like I said, if you go to London, you go to New York, you go to Boston, the atmosphere is palpable. They have so much entertainment on course, and that's what we've done. We've got 27 entertainment zones out on course and the 3 big spectator zones. But if you look at those events, they've got 1 million plus spectators, and that creates that atmosphere. And again, it's a true celebration of that city. That's what we've achieved this year by going to the evening, where we know that every technical aspect, my team with athletics and with the government has worked on everything. We're very confident that we can hit every niche that we have to hit. And we're also very confident that Singapore is going to come out and really embrace it. And like I said before, really put their best foot forward to show off Singapore.
Yeah.
That's will get us over the line to be the 7th World Marathon Major.
So now at this point in 2019, where are we in terms of getting the Republic to be considered as the 7th elite city, and by which year are you hoping for Singapore to achieve this goal?
So basically the criteria, you have to achieve it 2 times in a row. Now we've had the World Marathon Majors come and assess us since 17, and obviously we've failed each year because we still don't have that big wow factor.
Yeah.
This is the first year that we can actually pass the full criteria.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to get a big pass this year, repeat that again next year, and then we will be inducted as the 7th World Marathon Major in 2021.
Nice. So 2021 is the year to watch, 2021. Janice, from a public partner's point of view, do you get the sense that Singaporeans are totally behind the annual marathon in terms of coming out to support and embrace the event? And if you are not fully behind, what else do you think the organisers like Geoff and his team need to do to rally more support?
I guess wearing my other hat as the founder of Aging Asia, we are an aging market consultancy, and we've traveled widely around the world to look at how to make countries and cities age-friendly as well. I would be looking to see how the marathon is going to be very friendly towards older people. As you know, older people typically don't like to attend super crowded events, and the marathon is like a huge event, and you know they would usually not participate because they have fears about crowd control, they have fears about there's so many people out there. But for the first time, we're bringing Aspire 55 there, so I think it's to show also that this marathon is age friendly, and we're going to be looking at all the different channels, and we'll be getting a lot of feedback from our members about their experience at the marathon. And I think this will help to encourage more people in the community to come and celebrate in next year's marathon.
I think that's a new hashtag, SESM age friendly. That's a new one. You never know. The Americans have Super Bowl Sunday as the NFL comes to a grand finale at the end of January. While in Australia, they have the horse racing event known as the Melbourne Cup, which is the race that stops a nation. Everybody knows about it. In Singapore, could the marathon work towards becoming a fully supported event whereby tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands locals come out and fully pack the 3 spectator zones which have been earmarked? What do you reckon?
I think definitely we stand a chance. The Grand Prix is one, but sports is the wave of the future. So I see it as an opportunity for us to rally together as a nation and come out to support this event.
Nice. Belinda Foo, in your own words, why should the Lion City be included in the World Majors?
Well, I just think that Singapore is a beautiful city. It just is. And since it's going to be in the evening, we're going to have that wonderful skyline. And also we're well poised in Asia. It's one of the, this is not from me, but this is from an online flight network that has called us actually the 11th most beautiful city in the world. And I think now that it's pushed to the evening, it's going to be a beautiful event, with a beautiful backdrop. And also we, are in a great place. We have the good blend of East and West, the modern, the contemporary with the traditional. So I think the Lion City Marathon, hashtag, will be a unique one.
Okay. And how does an international renowned marathon benefit Singapore athletics plans and programs in terms of your development of distance running?
Oh, I think it'll be a real boost, not just for the development of our distance running, but for athletics as a whole.
Okay. We've come almost at the tail end of the show. Janice, is this year's debut of your seniors in Aspire 55 the start of an annual tradition for the marathon? I know you mentioned 2020 is on the cards, so is that confirmed?
Definitely. 1000%. I mean, next year I probably want at least 100 members taking part in it, and with all their family members in the crowds. We want to make our presence felt, and we hope that this will encourage more older people to think about exercising.
Okay. Geoff, we'll let you have the last word as to why should Singaporeans come out this weekend to support the SCSM. I mean, the fact, we know that 50,000 will be at the National Stadium for the big U2 concert, so coincidentally. So the runners this year have a benefit. Along Nickel Highway, they possibly can hear U2, performing. But what are the other aspects that you think, the final call for Singaporeans to come out?
Look, we might be the organiser and the government might be part of the organising committee, but this is actually Singapore's event. This is Singapore's time to really shine, so to speak, in regards to it is a national event. The globe is going to be watching. We've got the heads of all the World Marathon Majors coming here this weekend. They're all here because they think that we're getting closer and closer to fulfilling that dream of becoming the 7th. So I think, look, I don't know whether Singapore will ever get the Olympic Games, but this is the next best thing. This is Singapore's chance to really shine on a global stage, and that's why I really put it out there to all Singaporeans: come down, celebrate the city, celebrate the event, and really show the world what we can do.
All right, awesome stuff. Geoff Meyer, Janice Chia, Belinda Foo, thank you very much for coming on this special edition to preview the Standard Chartered Singapore Marathon 2019. We wish all of you the very best for this weekend, and of course the Singaporeans, come down and support. I mean, you just have to go down to the finish point is at the floating platform. Yeah, and the 3 spectator zones are somewhat in that region, right?
Yes, we've got the Empress Lawn, we've
Yeah.
got the promontory and the float as well, and then we start at the F1 pit. So it's all in sort of, you know, that area so that you can come and be part of it all.
That's right. There's a big carnival with F&B and music and all sorts of things happening at the floating platform. So come on down, make it a family event, and support our own Singapore Marathon. Thank you very much, guys, for coming on to Uncut. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.